Good morning, friends. I am Sachin Ketkar from the MS University of Baroda, and this is my colleague, Mr. Vishal Badani,
Hello.
who is my colleague and a very active researcher into Indian literature and translation studies. So, friends, what we are going to do today is we are going to talk about translation theory and practice from a very contemporary perspective. And so, what we'll do is we'll start looking at the slides one by one and we'll start the discussion. So, let's look at the first slide for today.
Yeah, so the intention of today's presentation is to distinguish between A. The study of translation and the practice of translating, and B. The traditional or conventional thinking about translation and the contemporary translation studies.
Yeah. So, what is very important to keep in mind, friends, is what we are going to do today is we are going to move away from conventional and traditional thinking about translation that we are all familiar with when our teachers talk about it or when we talk about ours between our friends about translation. And this conventional and traditional thinking about translation is something that we are going to avoid today. And what we are going to do is we are going to first make a distinction which is very crucial between study of translation study and the practice of actual translating. And the second thing that we are going to do is how contemporary translation studies differs from the traditional thinking that we are all familiar with. So, Vishal, let's start the discussion by why, in the first place, should we study translation at all? Why not
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah, so basically, the interesting question that arises naturally is why to study translation?
Right.
And we have several reasons to start with.
Right.
Because most of the important literary and critical texts can be read only through translation. That is significant because we have lot many books only available in translation rather
Right.
than our source language.
Right.
And the other reason could be because without translation we cannot even read important works in other Indian languages. So it actually brings to us a lot of works and offer us a range of literature to us which otherwise we could not read.
Very true.
What do you think?
Right. So it's means it actually enriches our study of literature. It makes it is because of translation that we can read something which is in Bengali or Tamil when we don't know these languages. So without translation, we cannot study literatures from other languages. So that is another reason why we should study translation.
So that is actually expanding the canon of literature,
Exactly.
expanding our reading of literature.
Exactly.
And because many of the texts in your syllabus, friends, are translations. For example, Tagore's Gitanjali or Gandhi's writing, which are actually in other languages, let's say Bengali or Gujarati. It's just because of translations that they have been made available to you.
Yeah. So what translation does is it makes available to us many things which we otherwise would not be able to access. So because translation is such a kind of portal which allows us to access, it's very important to study the whole process and the whole context of translation. So that is a very important reason why we should study translation, because as you will go ahead in your study of literature, you will come across more and more translated texts. You might move into post graduation with English literature, then you might be reading critical essays by critics who are not English. You might be reading critical essays by French theorists like Barthes or Derrida or Foucault. You might be reading German theorists. So as we go further in study of literature, we find that more and more of material that we study is available in translation. So if that is so, then it's very important for us to understand this process and what goes behind this process. And because our material is in translation, it's important for us to understand what translation is or how it happens.
Exactly.
So that's the reason, I feel, one of the very important reasons why we should study translations. Let's look at the next slide.
Yeah. Because India is multilingual country and translation is important part of our cultural life, and that is very significant because in India at least we are bilingual if not multilingual.
Right.
So that actually helps us in leading our cultural life further along with translation.
Right. So most of our students, if you know, they know at least 3 languages, or means students are familiar with English, though they might not be very comfortable with it, but they know some English. Then Hindi is a very common language because Hindi films and television serials are so very popular.
Definitely.
And plus the first language, which people call mother tongue, is something that we all of us know. So at least 3 languages we live with. And when we are living with 3 languages minimum, translation is very important process by which we shuttle or we toggle between languages. Means it might happen that you might watch a television serial in Hindi, but you understand it in Gujarati.
Gujarati, yes.
Or you might read a book in English, but your understanding is in Gujarati. So what happens is translation is something that we are used to doing naturally. It comes natural to us. We are always already in translation. So that is one reason why we should understand translation, and we should study translation in detail.
In that sense, it is not something new to us. We have
Exactly.
been practicing translation.
Right.
Yes.
And on day-to-day basis we are translating. So we are speaking in English and our students might be listening to it in Gujarati.
Exactly. So the process of translation is always going on.
So it's a process that we should understand because we are doing it all the time. So that is one reason, as Indians, one very important reasons why we should study translation.
Another reason is because translations have played extremely important roles in our social and cultural history. Because if you look at social and our cultural history of, let's say, Gujarat or India, it has always played a very vital role in the sense of development of a culture, enrichment of a culture, and the whole idea of importing and exporting ideas.
Yeah.
So that in that sense, we have been enriched by translation.
Exactly. And translations have impacted history and society. And we will be looking at Gandhiji's translation of John Ruskin's Unto This Last in the course of our today's discussion. And Gandhiji translated this book in, I think, 1906 or so, and called it Sarvodaya. And it is one of the most important books in cultural life of Gujarat as well as the nation, because it has played such an important role in nationalist struggle. Other example which comes to my mind is Savarkar's translation of Mazzini's biography, and it was banned by the Britishers and Britishers had kept a penalty that we will cut off the tongue of a person who reads that book.
Oh.
So translations have impacted society, and translation have been very important in social life. So that's another reason why we should study translation. So given all these very important reasons, I think study of translation becomes very important to us as Indians and as students of culture and literature.
True.
So let's see what the next slide says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as the objective of literary studies is to enhance and increase the knowledge of various aspects of literature, like what is relationship between literature and society or history, for instance, the purpose of translation studies is to enhance and increase the knowledge of various aspects of translation itself, like what is relationship between translation and society or history. So we are looking at translation from a disciplinary point of view rather than a process of translation.
Exactly. So friends, you might have realized by now that we are not really looking into questions like how to translate a particular sentence or particular idiom into English, how to translate something effectively. We are not asking questions like, say for example, what is a good translation, or is translation possible at all? So these are some of the questions that we are not looking into. But the questions that we are addressing today are questions like, what is relationship between translation and history, translation and society? Now these are the questions which are similar to the questions that we ask in literature. For example, when you study literary history, students of BA with English know very well the history of English literature as it begins from Renaissance onwards. So we are interested in questions of history, questions of culture, questions of politics while we look at literature. So similarly, study of translation need not confine itself to study of how to translate X or
Exactly.
how to translate Y or what is a good translator. right? So instead of that, we are looking at very big questions, and that is what is the thrust area of contemporary translation studies, and that is what makes it more interesting in my view.
An interesting example that comes to my mind right now is when we look at the colonial past, our colonial past. When Britishers came, they first translated and they first prepared dictionaries from English to regional languages.
Exactly.
Considering the Christianary, the missionary
Right.
activities and all
Right,
that.
right.
And that affected the entire history of our nation.
Very
in the
true.
sense, they have translated so many scriptures into English first, and then they understood our culture. So in
Right.
that sense, translation, we need to understand what is the relationship between translation and history.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a very important point that you are making, Vishal. For example, colonialism brought with it certain translators and translations. In fact, a very famous translation by colonial person would be Shakuntala by William Jones. And it actually created an image of India in the mind of Westerners. And now this image was created in the mind of the colonizers and the Westerners, and this image actually helped them to justify why India needs to be colonized. Now this is a very serious charge made against the activity of translation. It's as if that translators were collaborators in colonial enterprise.
Enterprise, yes.
So translations are no longer innocent.
Innocent activity.
It can be viewed as a political act.
Political
through and
act,
through.
yes.
And this way of looking at translation makes it possible for us to go beyond traditional questions, the cliched questions of translation studies.
So contemporary translation studies actually liberates translation from the contours of the very rigid idea of the process oriented translation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you move to next?
Yeah.
So now we need to understand translation studies versus translating.
As you mentioned, the process of translating that you are talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just as studying literature does not ensure that student will become a novelist or a poet, similarly, studying translation does not ensure that student will become a translator or a better translator. I think, sir, this is a very interesting issue that I think which is deeply engrossed in our mind.
Exactly.
That while studying literature will be poets or novelists. Right?
Yeah, so I think usually when people ask why should we study translation, then the answer that usually people give is to learn how to translate effectively. Now this is a very narrow way of looking at translation, and contemporary translation studies has gone beyond this view. So and the comparison that we are making, Vishal and me, is just like reading literary criticism does not make you a novelist or a poet. Studying translation theory will not make you a better translator. So just like study of drama won't make you dramatist, but in same way study of translation will not make you a better translator. But the body of knowledge about literature that the critical approaches produce is very important to society and culture.
Exactly.
In same way, the body of knowledge that you produce about translation is very important for us to understand who we are as Indians or as people and what kind of society we live in. So these are very big issues that we are addressing when we are looking at translation, instead of narrow questions like will this make me a better translator or will this help me to get a job as a translator.
Exactly.
Right? So we are going beyond this kind of very narrow minded way of looking at translation today.
So that opens up various avenues for studying culture through translation and studying history through translation and politics.
Exactly. So this liberating thing, as you said, is what makes translation studies very exciting. And as we will see in the course of discussion, that translation studies is a very new discipline. And it's very fresh. And not many people are aware of this new discipline in India. Though all of us are familiar with translation.
Yes.
We are not very aware of this new discipline of translation studies. And the purpose of today's discussion that we are having is to familiarize students and the teachers with the new discipline of translation studies. So what we'll do, we'll look at the next slide here. Yeah.
So when we look at this whole relationship between translation studies and translating, the activity of translation is extremely ancient. The first translation known to us are the bilingual inscriptions during the Egyptian Old Kingdom as far back as 3000 BC. So I
Yeah.
think we have a very long history of translation and the practicing
Exactly.
of translation,
Right.
but less available to the theory part.
Exactly. So the point that we are making here that the activity of translation is very ancient. Now this is one example that in Egypt the stone inscription or papyri inscriptions were often bilingual, and wherever there are more than one languages involved, there is often translation available there. So activity of translation is very old. Vishal, even in India, if you look at Sanskrit plays of ancient period, then you find that they are written in more than one language.
More than one language.
Plays of Bhas or Kalidas have Prakrut Sanskrit versions, and often the actors in those days did not know Prakrut because they come from elite class.
Elite class.
So people used to make translations of Prakrut available to them, and it was known as Chaya.
Chaya.
So Chaya was made available to actors who wanted to play a role of, say, for example, Vidushak
Vidushak.
or
Yes.
Dasi.
Dasi.
Right. So activity of translation is very ancient, but the theory of translation, theorization of translation, which is move away from practice of translation, is a very recent thing to happen.
Yes. Traditional thinking about translation. Here we'll discuss the conventional notion about translations, and we'll see how the shift, how we are taking a shift from conventional notions of translations to contemporary notions of translation. The beliefs about translation are as old as the activity itself. The earliest known, the most enduring theoretical thinking comes from the Romans like Cicero, that is 55 AD. The Romans believed that the word-to-word translation was incorrect and insulted in clumsiness and quaintness, which would hinder communication.
Right.
I think this belief is still very much